Among the well-known troublemakers of Maplewood was Linda Harper, a woman in her early 50s renowned for her meticulousness and attention to detail. Linda took immense pride in her perfectly manicured flower garden, and her neighbors were well aware of her high standards, especially when it came to newcomers moving into the area. On a crisp Friday morning, Linda was tending to her garden as part of her daily routine when something caught her eye: a moving truck parked across the street. It had stopped in front of the old house that had been vacant for months. Her curiosity piqued. Linda squinted to get a better look, observing as two movers carried furniture into the house. Her expression quickly soured when a tall, muscular African-American man stepped out of a sleek black SUV parked behind the truck. Linda didn't recognize the man, and the presence of a stranger in her otherwise peaceful neighborhood unsettled her. Muttering to herself, Linda went back inside and grabbed a dusty pair of binoculars from the top shelf of her closet. Standing behind the curtains of her living room window, she carefully watched the scene outside through the lens. She observed the man interacting with the movers. The newcomer gestured confidently, directing the work with a calm authority that only irritated Linda further. For nearly an hour, she remained glued to her spot, searching for any reason to justify her unease. Yet all she saw was a man methodically organizing his new home. As the afternoon wore on, Linda's unease grew stronger. Her thoughts swirled incessantly, unable to shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Who does he think he is moving into this neighborhood without even bothering to say hello? Linda muttered, pacing anxiously around her living room. By evening, her suspicion had reached its peak. Grabbing her phone, Linda made the call she had been debating for hours. "Yes, I'd like to report some suspicious activity at the old Carter house," she told the dispatcher, her voice tinged with worry. "There's a man moving in, and well, I don't think he belongs here. He could be trouble." On the other end, the dispatcher sounded slightly weary. "All right, ma'am, we'll send someone over to check it out," he recorded the details. Linda hung up, a small wave of satisfaction washing over her. In her mind, she didn't believe she was overreacting. She reassured herself that she was protecting the community from potential risks. Settling into her familiar armchair with a steaming cup of coffee in hand, she waited, feeling a sense of pride in what she considered a noble act. About 10 minutes later, a police car pulled up in front of Linda's house. Out stepped two officers, Tom and Mike, both seasoned veterans of small-town patrols. Tom, a stocky man with a rugged appearance, adjusted his belt as he surveyed the area. Mike, leaner with sharp eyes, scanned the street with practiced precision. They were no strangers to calls like Linda's, where concerns often stemmed more from fear of change than any genuine threat. Linda wasted no time, quickly stepping onto her porch and enthusiastically waving to the officers. "Thank you for coming, gentlemen," she said, shaking each of their hands firmly. "You know, we can't let strangers come in and disrupt the peace around here." Tom nodded politely. "Of course, Linda. So what seems to be the issue?" he asked, his tone calm but his expression suggesting familiarity with concerns like these. Linda pointed across the street, lowering her voice as if sharing a secret. "That man over there," she said cautiously, "just moved in today. I've never seen him before, and I have a strong feeling he's going to cause trouble." The officers exchanged a brief glance, Tom raising an eyebrow. "All right, Linda," Tom replied evenly. "We'll go over and have a chat to make sure everything's in order." Eagerly, Linda followed as the officers crossed the street. A self-satisfied smile spread across her face, her confidence growing with each step. In her mind, she was fulfilling her civic duty, protecting her neighborhood and ensuring only the right kind of people lived there. As they approached the front yard, the man Linda had been watching stepped onto his porch. He appeared momentarily surprised at the sight of the officers but quickly composed himself, offering a friendly nod. He stepped down to greet them, his movements steady and confident. "Good afternoon, officers," he said warmly, his tone polite but tinged with curiosity. "How can I help you?" Tom nodded and extended his hand. "Good afternoon, sir. We received a call from a neighbor and just wanted to check in. We understand you just moved in today." The man shook Tom's hand firmly, a small but confident smile spreading across his face. That's correct. My name is Adrian Parker, he said smoothly, releasing Tom's hand and letting his words settle into the air. His calm gaze shifted toward Linda, who stood frozen a few steps behind the officers. Both officers blinked their professional expressions, giving way to surprise. You're Chief Parker? Mike asked, his tone tinged with astonishment. Adrian gave a slight nod. That's right. I just arrived, and I'm getting settled before officially starting next Monday, he confirmed, his voice steady and assured, exuding a confidence that left no room for doubt. Adrian glanced at Linda, whose face had gone pale. The smugness she had displayed just minutes earlier was now replaced by shock. She stood awkwardly, fidgeting as she tried to mask her discomfort. "Oh, well, I just wanted to make sure everything was in order," she stammered, the embarrassment burning hot on her cheeks. The two officers, who initially thought this was just a routine check, were now struggling to suppress their amusement. It was clear that Adrian Parker's calm demeanor had completely unsettled Linda, leaving her fumbling for a way to respond. Adrian turned his full attention to Linda, his expression composed but with a hint of disappointment in his eyes. "Mrs. Harper, I appreciate your concern for the safety of the neighborhood. That's very important to me as well, and I'm sure you'll come to see that," Adrian said, his voice firm yet measured. "However, if there's ever an issue in the future, I would prefer you address it directly with me. That way, we can avoid any unnecessary misunderstandings." Linda mumbled something incoherent, her eyes fixed firmly on the ground as if her shoes held all the answers. Regret weighed heavily on her, and she couldn't help but wish she had handled things differently. The two officers exchanged a knowing look, recognizing that Adrian's gentle yet firm reminder was far more effective than anything they could have said themselves. Tom seized the opportunity to emphasize the point. Chipping in, "Chief Parker here has an excellent reputation. We're lucky to have him in Maplewood. He's known for keeping things organized and running smoothly. Isn't that right, Linda?" Linda nodded hastily, her wounded pride clearly evident. Standing there under Chief Parker's sharp gaze, Linda felt smaller than she ever had before. What she had believed was an effort to protect her neighborhood had, in reality, exposed her own prejudices. Without another word, she turned and hurried back to her house, the sting of humiliation chasing her every step. The two officers, satisfied that the situation had been resolved, exchanged a few parting words with Adrian before returning to their patrol car. As they drove away, Mike broke the silence with a quiet chuckle. "Chief Parker sure knows how to handle people." Tom smiled, nodding in agreement. "Yeah, that's justice served on the spot, if you ask me." In his newly furnished home, Adrian glanced toward Linda's house. He shook his head lightly, a small smile on his face. "Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this story. If you did, don't hesitate to like and share the video with your friends. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming stories. Have a wonderful day.